Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking a framework that is literally going to shift how you think about your daily workload. We're looking at the Claude Productivity Blueprint. Now, if you kind of feel like you're only scratching the surface of what artificial intelligence can actually do for your workflow, well, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to take the exact data and frameworks from this blueprint to uncover how to unlock AI's true, massive potential. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. I need you to be honest with yourself for just a second here. When you open up an AI tool, say Claude, how are you actually using it, right? Are you just firing off quick questions, maybe asking for a recipe, or, having it summarize a long email? Because if you are, you're basically treating this completely revolutionary technology as nothing more than a glorified, slightly smarter search engine. And hey, while that's super convenient, it also means you're missing out on a totally exponential leap in your own output.
Section 1. The AI Productivity Divide.
According to our source material, there's a massive, massive gap in how people are currently leveraging these AI tools. Most people, we're talking the 99% here, use AI as that slightly better Google search we just talked about. To them, it's totally linear, question in, answer out. But the top 1%, they have a completely different mindset. They use AI as a productivity multiplier. And a multiplier doesn't just add a tiny bit of convenience to your day, it completely scales your ability to produce, to think, to execute. It literally leaves that 99% in the dust.
Section 2. The lunch break business.
30. The source material claims that by utilizing specific methods within Claude, you can actually save 30 hours a week. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. 30 hours. That is practically an entire standard work week given right back to you. It's time you could spend strategizing, getting some much-needed rest, or even taking on totally new ventures. It's a monumental claim for sure, and it all hinges on shifting from that basic search engine mindset over to that top 1% multiplier mindset. And the source explicitly attributes this huge 30-hour time save to 12 Claude hacks that feel illegal. That phrasing's pretty punchy, right? They use the word illegal, not because you're actually breaking the law or anything, obviously, but because the productivity advantage you're gaining over everyone else is just so vast, so incredibly unfair, that it honestly feels like you've stumbled onto a cheat code for reality. These are not just your everyday tips. They are structural hacks for your entire workflow. Now, what's really interesting about this is, well, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, saving time sounds great and all, but what am I actually supposed to do with all that extra time? The text gives us this exact jaw-dropping quote, "Build a business on your lunch break." This right here is the ultimate demonstration of that productivity multiplier. By using these specific prompts, the barrier to entry for really complex, really time-consuming projects, like launching an entire business from scratch, is completely slashed down to a single 1-hour lunch break. It's a total recalibration of what we even consider to be possible in a standard workday.
Section 3. The Master Prompt Framework.
So what's the secret weapon behind these massive, illegal-feeling productivity gains? Spoiler alert, it's not magic. And no, you don't need to be some sort of computer genius either. The real action comes down to a highly structured prompt engineering template. It's really just a formula. While the 99% are just typing whatever random thought pops into their head, the top 1% are engineering their inputs with absolute precision to guarantee a high-leverage output. Let's break down this incredibly practical step-by-step system. All right, here it is, the master framework straight from the source. Step 1 is the expert. You don't just ask Claude a generic question, you actually command it to adopt a persona. You literally tell it to act as a world-class copywriter or a senior financial analyst. Then step 2, the task. This is where you clearly define the exact output you want, zero ambiguity. Step 3 is context. You gotta give it the background. Why are you doing this task? Who's the audience? What's the history here? Step 4 is constraints, and honestly, this one is vital. You have to set boundaries. Tell it to keep the output under 500 words or use a specific tone, or even to avoid certain corporate jargon. And finally, step 5, clarifying questions. This is where you instruct the AI to ask you questions before it even begins its work. This ensures it has absolutely everything it needs to execute perfectly. So to put all that into perspective, instead of just saying, hey, write a marketing email, you're saying, act as a chief marketing officer, write a launch email for a new software product targeting freelancers. Keep it under 200 words, but first ask me 3 questions to perfectly tailor the tone. See the difference? So, the crucial point is that you absolutely cannot skip any of these components if you want that true multiplier effect. This brilliantly illustrates the exact difference between an amateur and a total pro. When you stack the expert persona, the precise task, the rich context, the strict constraints, and that awesome safety net of clarifying questions, you completely stop asking a machine for a favor.
and you start programming an incredibly capable digital employee. This specific blueprint is exactly how those 30 hours a week are actually saved.
Which leaves us with this final, absolutely vital thought. We've seen the framework, we've seen the proof from the source material that this specific engineering template can unlock 30 extra hours a week. It literally transforms AI from a basic everyday search tool into a massive productivity multiplier. So, applying the lessons from this explainer today, I want to leave you with this one question. With 30 extra hours handed right back to you and the ultimate prompt formula ready to deploy, what are you going to build on your next lunch break? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this structured look at the Claude Productivity Blueprint completely transforms the way you work.